over there. Are markets running ahead of fundamentals? Because one can argue that what has driven up markets is the 25,000 odd crores of FII money that's come in. I'm not too sure how much of that is because of the India story and how much of that is because of the money flows across the world into the equity markets.
Even if we look at it that fundamentally are the valuations ahead of where they should be, the fact is that the valuations were maybe also beaten up a little more than what they should have been. And a lot of that depression in the valuations was not related to fundamentals, but just related to the fact that money supply was constrained. There were a lot of hedge funds and other banking institutions which just had to sell to meet their cash requirements, and a lot of pessimism. So yes, we've gone to the other side. The money has come in, but I think a lot of the money has come in because people do not want to be left out of the game, and people want to make sure that they do participate in an economy like India, where although the fundamentals were shaken up, they were never shattered. You know, we never had as big a problem as some of the other developed economies had.
Having said that, Munesh, just about when we are recovering as far as the economy is concerned, do these FII flows pose a risk also? What happens, for instance, if there is a reversal?
Yes, if there is a sudden and a sharp reversal of the FII's flows, then there would be an issue on our markets clearly. But I think that, you know, if we look at it, a lot of the reversals which happened 9 months ago or a year ago had less to do with fundamentals and a lot to do with the way that people had been leveraged, the way that hedge funds had been leveraged. I think in most of the economies now regulations have been put in, and therefore there is not so much of that sudden money which is going to come in and go out. Right. And on the other hand, the fact is that worldwide there is money, and there are currently very few investment opportunities around the world, and it just so happens that India is a bright spark in that.
Right, absolutely. I think the consensus is that the action is in India, Munesh. But at home, we're also building on to an event. That's, of course, the budget. Every year we have a pre-budget rally. But what happens if it doesn't pack the punch as promised? The expectations are so high. Rarely have we seen this kind of a build-up of expectations.
I think, again, although like we said, yes, have the valuations far exceeded the fundamentals? Yes. Therefore, is there a probability of a correction? At least personally, I believe that yes, there could be some correction. Now, it could be triggered off by any event. It could be triggered off by a mismatch in expectations of budget. It could be triggered off by what happens in the worldwide. But I think that yes, it is a volatile time. We are precipitous situation, and I think just the suddenness and the sharpness of the increase does lead us exposed to some correction.
As an economist, Atsia, what do you make of the stock market rally? Is there a bit of irrational exuberance out there, according to you? Because you look at those numbers on the economy front on a daily basis.
Certainly, irrational exuberance can lead to bubbles, which is what economists hate more than anything. So I would say that, one thing that the market seems to be doing is correcting pessimism as well. So, and part of that I agree with, and we had always maintained the view that, look, the economy is not going to fall off the cliff because the government is going to come in and save the day. But then I think the, soaring of valuations is perhaps because they're expecting that this government spending will increase even more, which it can't because the government has a fiscal deficit that's soaring, and B, an expectation that the private sector, from sort of trailing behind the government in terms of spending, will suddenly start galloping, and I think that won't happen either. So I think these expectations will have to be tempered.
Right, and that pretty much sums it up, Atsia. I like the way you said that the pessimism has been negated. Munesh, I think that's what's changed, hasn't it? That the sentiment has improved. There is more hope and cheer than skepticism and nervousness. So, at the end of the day, a lot of deals happening in the investment banking side?
Yes. I mean, Deal Street is busy right now. There is a lot of conversation on the street that, like I said, intrinsically business has not been severely impacted. We need to think about strategic options, raising of money. Money is available. So, yes.
Right, Munesh. So things are looking
investment
good.
bankers are at least currently a busy bunch of people.
Right. So good times for you, Munesh. Thank you, Artsy and Munesh, for joining me on that story. A surprise. That's a wrap on the show.